Hi, this is The Real Deal with Trisha Real. That's me, Trish the Dish. I know you haven't seen me here for a while, but because 2025 promises to be one of the most epic years on record, I thought I'd come on with an overview. Also, I'm writing a new book. It's called Cosmic Cycles and Revolution, Modern Astrology with a Humorous Twist. I plan to have it published and available in 2025. You've heard it here first. So, as you might have heard, 2025 and 2026 are forecasted to be the years that change everything. All 4 outer planets will be moving from Earth and water to air and fire signs. This is a big transition and much less dense than the vibes we've been living through. It's highly unusual for so many outer planets to be moving into new signs all at once. So this is a major elemental shift.
You know, I was fired from work for putting in too many shifts. Yeah, it turns out that keyboard manufacturing isn't as easy as you'd think.
Anyway, Pluto has solidly moved into Aquarius now and until 2044. Neptune is moving into Aries by early April 2025. Saturn moves into Aries by May 26th, 2025, till September 1st. And Uranus goes into Gemini on July 8th, 2025. That's a lot of planets moving into air and fire signs all in 1 year. Jupiter moves into watery Cancer on June 10th, 2025. So that's another shift as well. So what do all these planetary shifts changing all at once really mean?
Well, I don't know about the planets, but do you know why the janitor with the speech impediment missed his shift? Turns out he overswept.
Anyway, the spring and summer of 2025 is a super concentrated period. All outer planets will be moving into their new signs starting in late March, early April. We'll also be experiencing the peak of solar cycle 25 in 2025. So that means an abundance of solar flares, which could increase electromagnetic activity on Earth and possibly affect communications and weather. From July 8th to September 1st, 2025, the outer planets will have all moved into their new signs, giving us a pretty strong preview of 2026. Then, by the end of October, many of the planets will go back into their previous signs, besides Pluto, which will remain in Aquarius. So the fall of 2025 will be a time to tie up loose ends and finish up old business.
You know, old business is like a zombie. It keeps rising from the dead no matter how many times you think it's done.
Now, one of the most talked about drivers of all of this is Pluto. Pluto will be in Aquarius until 2044, 20 years. The last time Pluto went through Aquarius was 248 years ago during the French Revolution and after the USA was formed. Pluto in Aquarius will inspire a modern revolution. It transforms our ideals concerning community and brings a deeper understanding of what that means. In our modern day, we're likely to experience a more innovative future, transformed digital world, and other mind-blowing technologies and technological advances. The focus is on new solutions and letting the old and outdated die off.
Well, we've come a long way. And back in the day, cutting edge tech was literally a sharper knife.
So, anyway, the Neptune-Saturn conjunction in Aries might amplify a bigger mix of facts with fiction. The cult of personality is likely to grow bigger before it implodes and inevitably dissolves. Uranus going into Gemini gives us a new approach to how we communicate. This supports even more change and so many new innovations with tech.
You know, innovative tech lets me send messages instantly. Yet my family still waits 2 days before responding with a thumbs up.
Yeah, I understand, geezer. So the bigger story is the aspects between all of these planets. Saturn conjuncts Neptune, the end of Pisces to early Aries, March 2025 to February 2026. Historically, Saturn-Neptune conjunctions happen approximately every 36 years. The aspect has corresponded to big changes in the communist paradigm, Russia specifically. Here's a short list. The Bolshevik Revolution in 1917. That's when Saturn conjuncts Neptune in Leo. 36 years later, Stalin, the longtime dictator of the Soviet Union, died of a stroke in 1953, when Saturn was conjunct Neptune in Libra. His death marked the end of an era of extreme centralization, terror, and personal rule. 36 more years later, the Berlin Wall comes down, November 9, 1989, when Saturn was conjunct Neptune in Capricorn. 2025 and 2026 are next. So Neptune dissolves old, rigid boundaries when it's conjunct to Saturn. With Saturn conjunct Neptune, we can also bend the rules and bring more structure to the imagination. Creative new art forms can emerge, and even a cultural revolution through art. Oh yeah, revolutionary art is great, until someone asks you to explain what your sculpture of a melting clock really means. Neptune and Saturn also sextile Pluto, a harmonious 60-degree aspect. This aspect begins in March 2025. It supports the idea of one world and one global planet. So despite how bleak things look right now, this is a dream of dissolving borders as we know them, like John Lennon said. Uranus also sextiles Neptune and Saturn from 2025 to 2026. Uranus is the planet of change and revolution. This kind of an aspect with Neptune and Saturn actually supports revolutionary urges within the collective, as well as going beyond our present limitations. This aspect supports us to think outside the box and discover new ways to use our creative skills.
Thinking outside the box is great, but has anybody tried redesigning the box instead?
Good point, Gussie. Anyway, Uranus also trines Pluto 2025 to 2026. So this aspect blends new scientific ideals with our community drive. We might see major shifts in the global structure in the coming years. A global currency movement could even take hold.
A global currency? Perfect! Now I can be broke in every country at the same time.
So now onto a more specific monthly view. January starts with a bang, with Mars opposite Pluto, and exact by January 3rd. The moon conjunct Pluto in Aquarius is on January 1st. So the first 3 days have an explosive fighting spirit, but alternatively, it could be inspiring. Mars moves back into Cancer on January 6th, possibly reawakening old feelings of powerlessness. Since Mercury in Sagittarius is squaring Neptune in Pisces at the same time, some things could feel more dramatic than they actually are. Be mindful that this will pass and don't believe everything you're told, especially by the media. The Sun conjuncts Pluto in Aquarius on January 20th, Inauguration Day in the USA. So expect the unexpected. Sounds like it'll be a day to carry duct tape, a flashlight, and snacks. It's the ultimate survival kit for everything from emergencies to snack attacks. Sure. So March 9th to the 29th, 2025 is the most compressed time period. So much happens. It's extremely potent with the North Node, Neptune, and Saturn in the late degrees of Pisces. Mercury retrograde and Venus retrograde add to this focused mix as well, from March 11th to the 27th. The new moon in Aries is on March 28th, and it's also a partial solar eclipse. It's a very strong conjunction, such a huge pileup of planets in Pisces and Aries. Oceans are a deep focus, as is anything regarding water. Have empathy for those around you. Things are dissolving around the world, and it could feel like a wet, slippery slope. The end of March, early April is the beginning of the new paradigm. April 15th is the best day for flow and emotional harmony in this time period. April 21st to the 27th, 2025, Mars opposite Pluto has its final culminating opposition. It's an epic time period. So many endings and the most explosive, even warlike time of the year. Revolutionary vibes are strong, so use the inspiration to transform the vision of your life. Take care of yourself and don't let your buttons get pushed.
When somebody pushes my buttons, I push back. And then we're just two elevators stuck on the same floor.
Exactly. So on May 25th, 2025, Saturn moves into Aries, just 1 degree from exactly conjuncting Neptune in Aries. June 9th, 2025, Jupiter moves into Cancer and squares Neptune and Saturn in Aries. This crisis in action is the third of the Jupiter-Saturn squares in this cycle. So although Jupiter's move into Cancer is positive and fortuitous due to its exaltation in that sign, we may need to work for the benefits due to the Jupiter-Saturn square. There's global volatility, but because the Jupiter-Saturn square will be at what we call world points, 0 degrees of cardinal signs, it suggests major new world initiations, where the tone of reality really changes. It will likely feel quite profound. Best way to seem profound? Just pause dramatically before saying something obvious. Anyway, we could be celebrating a new beginning of countercultural movements at this time, as well as solidarity with those advocating for social change. We might have bigger ideas on how we can help nurture the collective and help create more freedom from suffering for all beings. June 25th, 2025. The new moon in Cancer conjuncts Jupiter in Cancer. This is an auspicious launch point and a time of great fortune. This is the first new moon with all of the new energy of the outer planets in play. Conservatism is out. So many planets and cardinal signs are initiating new paradigms. Have the courage to go your own way. August 9th is a full moon in Aquarius. Mars in Libra is opposite the Neptune-Saturn conjunction, passionately activating it. That's challenging, but there are lots of gifts August 8th through the 12th. Harmonious kites, a mystic rectangle, etc. August 11th to the 12th, 2025. Jupiter conjuncts Venus in Cancer. These are auspicious possibilities that are supported with a mystic rectangle and a grand trine. Luck and many harmonious possibilities are favored. Harmonious possibilities are all well and good, but let's start with people merging lanes without drama. Good point, Beatrice. So in the period of April through August, we'll experience many endings and new beginnings. From mid-August onward, we integrate the lessons of 2025. The fall of 2025 is a time to finish up old business. So I'm going to throw a bunch of dates at you now. Neptune goes back into Pisces, October 23rd, 2025 to January 27th, 2026. Uranus goes retrograde back into Taurus, November 9th, 2025 to April 27th, 2026. Then Uranus goes back into Gemini, April 27th, 2026, for 6 years until 2032. Saturn then goes back into Pisces from September 2nd, 2025, until February 15th, 2026. So, lots of retrograde action. So, in the early part of 2026, the vision for new changes really begins. And by the end of 2026, we've really stepped into the new energies. These next 2 years are a time of immense change, with 2025 being the transition. Exciting, scary, and exhilarating. They say that this is the biggest time of change in human history, but I'm still waiting for my toaster to fold my laundry. So, if you've enjoyed this report or you're interested in scheduling a reading with me or ordering an astro poem, you can communicate with me here. And if you're curious about the characters, you can listen to my Zephram Gates audiobooks on Audible. On a new and exciting note, I plan to publish my new book in 2025, Cosmic Cycles and Revolution, Modern Astrology with a Humorous Twist. If you want to help with publishing costs, please donate to my Patreon page at patreon.com/TrishaReal. All links provided below. It's going to be a really fun read. And as always, please share this video, like, and subscribe. I'm Trish the Dish, and this has been The Real Deal with Trisha Real.